Kæru gestir, við bjóðum hjartanlega velkomna Ladeja Godina Kosir frá Circular Change sem mun hér deila með okkur þekkingu sinni og reynslu í að tileinka sér hringrásarhagkerfið jafnt í hugsun sem verki. Auk þess að vera stofnandi og framkvæmdastjóri Circular Change er hún meðstjórnandi European Circular Economy Stakeholder Platform á vegum Evrópusambandsins. Hún hefur verið öflugur talsmaður hringrásarhagkerfisins á alþjóðlegum vettvangi og meðlimur í alþjóðlegum ráðum, sérfræðingahópum og dómnefndum sem því tengjast. Hún er einnig meðhöfundur fyrsta vegvísis að hringrásarhagkerfi í Slóveníu, Serbíu, Svartfjallalandi, Kósóvó og Síle. Ladeja leggur áherslu á óhefðbundna nálgun til að skapa tækifæri fyrir uppbyggingu endurnýjanlegs hagkerfis og samfélags. Fyrir störf sín hefur Ladeja hlotið alþjóðlegar viðurkenningar, svo sem The Circular Leadership Award og EU Women for Future hjá framkvæmdastjórn ESB árið 2020. Ladeja Godina Kosir, Dynamic World of Circular Economy Principles and Sustainable Food Systems, offering insights into the future of food systems in Iceland, Slovenia and the broader European context.
Hello everyone, what to do after Ari? I asked him whether he would join me, but he has to run home and pick up his child. So thank you very much for the invitation. I have arrived and everyone was posting me, are you crazy? Where are you going? Iceland? No, not now, but I'm here and I do not regret. The first thing I've learned is that mindfulness is something what you are experts of. So you are in the moment. And hopefully we will have the opportunity to share this moment and to learn from each other. So the times we are living in are really challenging. And I believe that you saw already this picture many times. But it is just that waves are coming, new and new. So we started with COVID, but now we are ending up, hopefully, with the war and everything. So how to navigate in these crazy times when things like Nordic stars are happening even in my own country? So recently we experienced something what was your specialty here in Iceland, also in Slovenia. So everything is obviously changing. And right now, do you know what is happening on Sicily? Anyone heard? Eruption of volcano. But since everyone is focused so much on Iceland, rarely notice that there is something happening in Italy. So that is how we are, very much in silences, very much under the pressure of the media, and as it was nicely pointed already today, sometimes losing common sense. So what I have also learned that there is still a lot of common sense among you. So briefly, I'm coming from Slovenia. We always say that this is a country of just the right size, and yesterday we figured out that it is 5 times smaller than Iceland if we are taking our square meters. So you can imagine it's a really small country, but it is the only country with love in its name. It means something as well. So that is what we are bringing around and what we are proud of, the energy we have. And there are some interesting facts about Slovenia. You might see that in Slovenia, most of females are integrated into the, let's say, work system, what is the case also in Iceland. And another funny fact is that mainly we are very happy within our relationship. I do not know where Eurostat founded that because divorce rate is going up. But anyhow, that is what statistic is saying about us. Some facts related to the food, because today we are very focused on this, what is happening. So what we have, I have heard a lot about what is on your menu, how you are really enthusiastic about that, how to promote your local food, and there are, of course, different views on that. But one idea, what we have in Slovenia is that we introduced Slovenian traditional breakfast. There was a question about how the healthy and sustainable nutrition should come to schools, to kindergartens, and so on. So in Slovenia, once per month, every public institution, so kindergarten or school or hospital, has traditional Slovenian breakfast. Consists of bread, butter, you have plenty of that here as well, milk, honey, and apple. So as simple as that, but we are proud of that. And I think it's important that we know what is in our heritage, what is in our culture, what is really local. because what is local is in most cases also sustainable. Another interesting fact about Slovenia that we decided to promote the World Bee Day, because once there are no bees around, you know what happens. Nothing good for us, nothing good for nature and for us as part of nature. So I brought 2 bees with me. A Slovenian designer created them, so they're here, and maybe they will also contribute to a fertile nature in Iceland. Another fact that might be interesting for you, because we are talking today about food, but it is part of a bigger system, and tourism is one of those things that is somehow empowering Iceland. And also in Slovenia, we have more and more tourists, and experiences related to food are very, very important. So this is one of, I don't know, is anyone who ever heard about Anna Roš? Michelin star, not here in the audience, but oh, there is someone. Thank you. So she is a Slovenian chef, and she won 3 Michelin stars, and she's very, very much in the local food. She's promoting that, and she's integrating local producers into the dishes she is producing. And here is this link. So we have a very high quality of culinary experience, as well as we have very local ingredients. And she's also collaborating with the designer, so you can see on this photo that she's wearing something what is also related to the nature, and that is a sustainable designer also from Slovenia, creating also dresses and uniforms for her. So you can see how things are related and connected. We are talking about food, but there is tourism, there is fashion, there is mobility, everything comes together. And another interesting story. Anyone heard about juicy marbles? Yeah, so this belongs more to the startup community. So this is not real meat. We have heard that the diets are changing, the habits are changing, and this startup, now not anymore startup, they're super successful on global scene, they created a formula for world's first plant-based pork ribs, and also for meat in general. But everything is actually vegan. And the latest thing is that they even created edible vegan bones. Can you imagine that you get that on your plate, thinking that maybe this is meat, but it is not? So you can see why I'm introducing that, because there are different aspects of that, how our diets are changing, where the opportunities are coming in, and how things can coexist. I started with very traditional breakfast, and on the other hand, we have super, let's say, innovative and out-of-the-box product with juicy marbles. A little bit, you've heard a lot about me, and yeah, it's impressive. But mainly what I like to say is, because whenever I speak from my own experiences. And my added value is that I'm independent in a way that I'm the founder of Circular Change. So we started with this journey in 2016, and it is very rough sea, because circular economy back then was something what was for NGOs and for waste management. And that's when my family and my friends, they were like, now it's over. She is crazy. She's addressing something what is absolutely having no future. But nowadays we see that circular economy is very, very high on the agenda everywhere. So now about the systems. You already sensed a little bit the mindset I'm trying to share. And by this conference, I must say, what I have learned, and I said it already for the podcast or out there, it is rare that the ministry, with the minister sitting all day long, would organize something where different stakeholders can introduce their practices, their views. Normally, I'm at more than 60 events, and very often ministers come and go. And there is also this kind of the stage where there are other ministers maybe, or people from the government, but the others are not so visible. So I think that what you're doing here, this is really amazing, and showing the understanding of this system thinking and collaboration that only leads towards solutions that are so much needed. So one of the orders I picked, because we are learning all the time, and I think that also I'm economist and sociologist by education, and what we see is that new models are coming Yeah? So we should think a little bit out of the box here as well, what we have learned 20 or more years ago. And I would just recommend for those who are not familiar yet with Kate Rafford and her concept of donut economics. Why? Because she's telling us, explaining very nicely also in videos, how we should operate within planetary boundaries and not use something what we use on credit. And Iceland, as an island, is perfect example for that, how you can practice this model, because you physically have these limitations. You are in the middle of the ocean, to say so, on the island with resources, human resources as well, that are limited, and you have this mindset. I'm very much sure, according to what I have learned so far. And interesting fact is also, because when we are talking about systems, when we are talking about solutions, there is always something in behind, and that is money. Because still, money makes the world go round. And money goes where there is no risk, or where there is low risk. Only those who are really entrepreneurial and willing to risk would go elsewhere. And what we see, according to World Economic Forum, is that risks are shifting. If you take a look at this, you see the colors. So what is marked green is related to environmental risk. Okay? And what you see, that in 10 years, most of the risks are foreseen as those related to the environment. We see here failure to mitigate climate change, failure to climate change adaptation, natural disasters, extreme weather events, biodiversity loss. So all that are risks. And back to donut economics and living within and operating within the boundaries, there is the solution. So we should really focus on that, how to diminish this risk. And when we are talking about circular economy, sustainability, SDGs, it is not because it's nice and it's about the planet. We are part of the planet, and it's about me. I'm very selfish, and I would like to live here and now, as I said, mindful as possible, and leave, of course, everything for my kids, 3 of them, and those who will come after them. But it is about us, here, now, with these risks, how to mitigate risks. And another interesting document is Circularity Gap Report, showing us that on the global level, we are only 7.2% circular. As I said, as economists, I hardly understand that we are capable to reuse, repurpose, refurbish, whatever, resources that we take from the nature, only 7.2%. It is ridiculous. If you compare that to your household, how you behave, it is like you would be throwing away most of the things, more than 90% of the things. So it is really not rational, and we consider ourselves rational beings. So there is this momentum to think about how to make everything durable, and I will not go here into the details. It was already explained. This is the butterfly from Ellen MacArthur Foundation. What I would like to say is that circular economy refers, of course, to the production cycle, but very much to the biological one as well. And in Europe, we have Green Deal. It was mentioned already, and the new one that is coming will be called Blue Deal. Another opportunity for Iceland. Why? Because the Blue Deal will focus on water, all kinds of water. So oceans, rivers, salted water, drinking water, everything. And you have, experiences, you have knowledge, you have natural habitat here. So think about that, how really to extend your position and make you more visible with your knowledge, expertise, and to invite also others to explore this part of blue economy here in Iceland as well. So, as I said, there are cookbooks, I call them, from SDGs to Green Deal to Circular Economy Action Plan. We have a lot of agreements and strategies, which is fine. But now let's start working on the ground. And for working on the ground, also the audit in Europe realized that we are not very good. Why not? There is money, again, invested, but more than invested, it is very often wasted. because it is not used for the right purpose that would give a kind of return on this investment. And in circular economy, we are still too often focused on waste management instead of thinking about resources, how to use these resources as efficient as possible. So there is a lot of space for improvement. And this pillar, as I said, efficiency, it was said already. I have a great translator with me. Thank you very much for that. And I have heard from that you are thinking about efficiency, resource efficiency. And when thinking about what to export, to what extent to produce more, and to what extent to have higher added value, and maybe produce less for a higher price, or to reuse things, and so on and so forth. So this first thing is important, okay? Not just how to treat waste, but mainly how not to produce something and how really to minimize the negative impact on the nature. And I would highly recommend this document. This has been done by Systemic and Club of Rome, addressing all the changes that are needed for a successful transformation. Because as we saw at the opening, it is really complex and complicated. And we have to address all pillars. So redefining what is prosperity. If you ask yourself, what is prosperity for you or for your child? Or what is governance? What kind of governance is needed for these new models? Or what are the right incentives? So we have to think about all these things if we want to create a solution that is really tackling all the angles of this complex transformation. And related to that, as I said, today we are talking about food, but food system is very much related to all other systems. And that is what we need also to teach and inspire others to think out of the box. No matter what we are addressing, let's think what we are causing and how we interact with other pillars. So in the region, as it was said, we were working on circular economy roadmaps starting in Slovenia. And as we have learned back then in 2017, one of the important pillars is also circular culture. We are talking about economy, circular economy. We are talking also about circular change as transformation, but there is one very, very important aspect that is culture. Our values, our attitudes, our behavior. And in every single roadmap we did or co-created with stakeholders so far, food systems are one of those that are very much highlighted and have a lot of potential for transformation. It came out in Slovenia, as I said, in Serbia and Montenegro. In Chile, we work with them as well. So for the region, in Eastern Europe, we did a foresight exercise. So trying to imagine how the region can develop regarding circular and bioeconomy. And we created different scenarios. And what we have learned throughout that is that we are lacking systemic approach. I'm repeating the same things all the time, but wherever I go, it is very similar. We are not connecting circular economy and bioeconomy. This is the butterfly, so the technological part and the bio part are not connected. Governance is an issue, knowledge and capacity building, and as well inclusiveness. Because when talking about food systems, there is a crucial role of citizens that was addressed today as well. So back to Slovenia. Last Friday, I was moderating all-day-long event organized by our president, Nataša Pirc-Musar, and the topic was food systems. And I must say that that was one of those events where we've got the opportunity to have different stakeholders as well. And we were addressing the issue from the angle of self-sufficiency and resilience. So I think these topics are popping up everywhere. Because without food, without water, it's hard to survive. We need to breathe as well, and hopefully the eruption will not happen so that we have clean air as well. And the takeaways are very similar to what we are discussing here today, is that when we are talking about food systems, we are not talking only about food production. And you nicely addressed all the pillars of this value chain or value system today. So it is food production. It is processing. You were talking about packaging, great innovation, logistics, distribution, healthy people, consumers, waste streams. So you tackled all these angles, and this is important, because too often discussions go in the direction, oh, the producers, let's talk about producers. So that is really, really great message that I'm taking with me. And what we have learned in Slovenia is that, of course, we have several problems. I will just highlight two, maybe food for thought for you as well. So agricultural output value is super low. We are not very good at adding value compared to other countries in Europe. So you can see us before, when it was about waste management and how to treat waste, we are very good, but here we are not. The other interesting topic, and for you as well, are subventions. Where the money goes. A lot of money goes in Slovenia to farmers, but again, it is not used in a proper way. There is no return on these subventions. And now we have discussions what to incentivize. So how to find the right balance between the producers of the meat, for example, that is the case in Slovenia, and on the other hand, because we need more fruits and vegetables, how to support them. And here we're coming to glass houses, for example, and we have also some geothermal energy. So how to give subventions there and really help them to produce more locally, and not so much in the segment of meat where the results are already good and we are self-sufficient. So this is something what is in Slovenia very hot topic, and we have different, let's say, front runners that are showing us the way. One is Lušt. I will just briefly touch them. So Lušt, they're producing tomatoes in glass houses, very high quality, and what they managed to do is the residues of these tomatoes, so those branches where they're growing, are then used for the production of packaging, similar to what was introduced here with the grass, so they're producing that. Then we have startups, so similar as you were talking about startups, Mori, that invented a kind of reusable packaging and the whole system behind that. So that is changing the whole relation between the consumer and the retailer. And we have one big group, Panvita, where we have different producers of food, and they have a voice, very strong voice towards retail as well. So to Iceland, and to close with that, what I see that is somehow really your core of everything. Just it was in October when I was participating virtually to your event, Nordic Circular Summit, and some of the speakers today I noticed were there as well. So you are opening the safe space for discussions, and not only discussions but clear takeaways. The other thing, you have Nordic roadmap for circular financing. As I said, it's very important that you know where the money is. So take a look at that as well and see what you can profit out of that. And that is my personal view. You have so many advantages here, from the knowledge to the expertise to the culture, to how you value the nature and how you value everything what is happening here, so that you can actually attract talent. Not only to think about that, who is leaving Iceland, but how to attract talent and also how to motivate young people that they will feel that this is their purpose, that they're working with food, within these industries, and stay on the farms, and that they're valued for that. That is something what we see is a crucial challenge for us really to change it. And as I noticed, the quality of life here, and we talked in the coffee break, is high, and you really are above the average in Europe regarding satisfaction with life, which is great news. And I took one quote from Björk, who is also representing you very well, that people are always asking about Eskimos. There are not Eskimos around there. But I think you have a lot of messages that you can distribute, a lot of potential that can attract really talent and create great stories. So I'm inviting you to check where we can collaborate in the future. One of the things is European Circular Economy Stakeholder Platform that I already mentioned. The other thing is important is network governance. You have public governance on one side, and on the other, all the stakeholders that are collaborating. Check what we can learn from each other here as well, how to make it even more vivid. And I'm inviting you already to Slovenia in 2025 when we will organize Slovenian Circular Economy Hotspot opened to welcome everyone. I hope that there is some food for thought for you. The messages, I will not go through them. Take away whatever you find relevant. Here I am for the questions. And I will conclude with Rumi, the poet, who is saying, "You are not a drop in the ocean. You are the ocean in the drop." Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ladea. That was very inspiring and thought-provoking, really. We already have 2 questions.
Oh, yeah. Oh. To break the ice.
Yeah.
You can ask more. Feel free, whatever, even if I don't have the answers.
Yeah. So, yeah, the first one there. How economical is the circular economy? The transformation will cost a lot of money. And yes, this is an open-ended question.
Yeah, as I said, we humans are rational to the certain extent, as we saw to the certain extent, and we go where the money is. And when we are looking at the circular economy, it is not a choice, it is a need. I don't know who remembers Kodak brand. Is there someone old enough to remember Kodak? You know, what happened? Disappeared. Why? Because they were sure that forever everything will stay the same. But now when we have resources that are limited, what we are facing also now with all this, I would say, story around electrical mobility. So, but yes, what we need rare resources, and we need something what we do not have, what has high price, and so on and so forth. So circular models are leading you to more resilience and to more sustainable in a sense that your business will last. So it is, of course, incentives are needed at this stage, but without circular transformation, I don't believe the business will remain.
Yeah. Well, then, to the next point, what advice would you offer on how to effectively present this to decision makers, stressing the importance of a systemic approach?
Yeah, so the advice is something what I don't like. The word advice. I can share experiences more. So from Brussels as well, as I said, we have different DGs, so environment, innovation, and so on, but they're in silos. And it is the same on the level of governments. What we need is this kind of events, I would say really start with that to invite whoever has something to address the topic. It doesn't need to be an event. It can be a discussion, but very constructive. And don't say, oh, I'm from the Ministry of Economics, so we should solve this problem by ourselves. No. Invite others and really make this as a kind of the new culture of collaboration.
Yeah. Yes. I have heard we are too many to eat sustainably. I don't know if it's true. I hope not. What's your thought on this?
My thought is very subjective. Again, I think there is enough food on this planet to feed all of us. But if we take the global north, what do? We produce too much. We waste more than 1/3 of food is wasted, whether it's when it's produced or during the processing or so on. And we eat too much. So if you think about longevity, and those who live longer eat less, more quality food, and of course that has positive impact on health. So it is, I don't think that there is not enough food, but I would refer to what was the opening of what Anna was presenting. It is very important what kind of dietary we have, what we are choosing, what we are cooking, how we are actually treating food.
Yeah. You're touching upon many key points that have already been discussed here, so this is really fitting very well with the discussion here. Thank you very much for coming here and inspiring.
Thank you very much. You inspired me as well. So thank you.
Give her a big round of applause.